Today we're going to be working on finding and correcting the mistake in a given problem. So we're going to be given a question, all of the work, all of the justifications for that work, and our job is going to be to find the mistake. Sometimes it could be in the steps of the work that the person has done, the computations, and sometimes the error could be in the property that that person has chosen or used as a justification for their work. Okay, more often than not, it's going to be in the work that they actually did the computations and not the reasoning, but we have to look everywhere. Okay, so something to remember, we need to look at how the person doing the problem got from one step to another. The step they took may not always be the step that you would have taken. So you need to be very careful to remember that as we're going through and working on these questions. So we're going to explain the error in each problem and then correct the mistake in the question. That means we need to find where the mistake is first. And after we find the mistake, state what it is, very briefly, what the person did wrong. We're going to correct the mistake and get the right answer that they should have gotten. So in this first question, we're looking at the equation -3 times the quantity x minus 5 equals 66. That is given. That's what's supposed to happen, so we're good to go. All right, the next thing, we're going to go through and actually try and figure out what the heck they did. They said they used the distributive property next, so let's make sure that they did their math correctly. -3 times x is -3x, and -3 times -5 is +15, and that equals 66, so I agree with that step. We're good to go there. Well, what does it look like they did next? I see here we have this 15 somehow went away. What happened to it? If this is a +15, we would subtract 15 from both sides. Now remember, that is the addition property. Even though it says, or even though this is subtraction, that is the addition property. We don't have a subtraction property. So those 15s go away. Is 66 minus 15 51? Yes, it is. This -3x became a +3x. Is that a valid move to make? No. So that's where their mistake was. So we're going to circle that right there, and we're going to say they dropped the negative. And this is a very common mistake for people to make, so we just have to watch out for it. Okay, so there's where the mistake was. Now we have to correct the mistake. So over here, I'm going to write out what we actually have now. We have -3x equals 51. This is now the equation that we're solving. Okay, so we're going to divide by -3 on both sides and get x equals 51 divided by -3 is -17. We can check to make sure that we didn't make another mistake by plugging that back in as well. So -17 minus 5 is -22. -22 times -3 is +66. So we know that we did our work correctly to get that. Okay, this is what we're doing in these questions. Find the error, explain it, and then correct it to find the correct answer. All right, so let's look at another one here. In this question, we have 8k plus 2 is equal to 2 times the quantity k minus 5 minus k. Again, that's supposed to be given. Another thing should note, there should only be one mistake in the question. So the very first mistake that you find, that's what you're going based off of, not finding every single mistake from then on out. Okay, so that is given. 8k plus 2 stayed the same on the left-hand side, so they didn't do anything there. But we noticed there were parentheses, and now there's not. They said they used the distributive property, so let's double-check that. 2 times k is 2k, and 2 times -5 is -10. So they did that step correctly. Next, they said that they simplified. Remember, that means that they combined like terms. So 8k plus 2 stayed the same. 2k, what's like terms with that on this side? That -k. 2k minus k, they said is 3k. Is that correct? No. So this 3k is where they made a mistake. So we're going to say they simplified wrong. Or incorrectly, they added like terms wrong. however you want to say it, you got to explain what the error was. Okay, so when we take 2k minus k, that would actually give us regular old k. So let's come over here, and we're now going to solve the equation. 8k plus 2 equals k minus 10. That's the equation we should be solving after we found our mistake. All right, I'm going to choose to get my variables to the one side together first. So 8k minus k would give us 7k plus 2 equals negative 10 because those go away. 7k plus 2 equals negative 10. To get rid of that positive 2, opposite operations, we're going to subtract 2. So 7k equals negative 12. And last step, to get rid of that 7 times k, we're going to divide both sides by 7. And that's going to leave us with an answer of negative 12/7 for k. Again, you can plug that back into the original question, make sure that it works, gives you the correct answer, and you would be good to go. So things to remember again, you need to take your time, look at what they've given you and what steps that person has taken in order to find the mistake. Don't always just go based on what you would do in solving this.